This is Sarah Junick with Drilling Contractor. I'm reporting from the 2019 IADC HSE&T conference in Houston. Today I'm with Kyla Retzer. She is the epidemiologist with the National Institute for Occupational Safety and Health. Today she gave a presentation on road safety, its statistics, and best practices. Thanks for coming with us today. Glad to have you.
Yeah, great. It's great to be here. Thank you very much.
Okay, Kyla, can you talk about trends and fatalities in our industry?
Yeah, so the data I presented today showed how since 2010, the number of drilling workers in the U.S. that have died has gone down significantly, which is really positive. In the last 3 years of data that I showed, which was 2015 to 2017, is that transportation incidents were the leading cause of fatality. So then more than half of the fatalities of drilling workers were to transportation incidents. And those statistics don't capture commuting fatalities because they're not traditionally considered work-related by national statistics. And we know that the number of workers who die in commuting fatalities is somewhat significant based on some individual companies that keep track of those numbers. So I also talked about the importance of health and safety efforts to combat commuting crashes and make those drives safer to come to work.
What are some of the elements of a good road safety program?
The first is leadership commitment to road safety. So that what that looks like is that leadership talk about road safety and the importance of road safety. They go into the field and talk to workers about it. The second aspect is solid road safety policies in place. An example of that is mandatory seatbelt use, policies that address distracted driving, for example. The third is driver selection, training, and evaluation. So making sure that drivers are carefully vetted before being hired, they're effectively trained on road safety, and then they're evaluated on an ongoing basis with things like commentary drives. And then fourth is safe vehicle selection and maintenance. So focus on selecting the safest vehicles and that they're well maintained and they're fit for the driving conditions in which they operate.
And then you talked about the 3 elements of distraction. Can you talk to us about that?
I talked quite a bit about driver distraction, and many people think this is sort of the driving safety issue of our time. There's 3 types. There's the visual distraction, which is when you take your eyes off the wheel to do something like read a text message. The second is manual distraction, and that's where you have to take your hands off the wheel to like eat or something. And then the third is cognitive distraction. And that's when your mind is off the task of driving, whether it is because you're talking on the phone or because you're thinking about other things like problems at home, things like that. And what research shows us is that the more types of distraction that are involved, the more dangerous it is. So the most dangerous thing is to text and drive because it involves all those 3 types of distractions. You're visually, manually, and cognitively doing something else other than driving.
And then you talked about some of the ways to address those distractions.
Back to the whole idea of policies, putting a policy in place at your workplace that bans cell phone use is really an important way to address this issue. Studies that I have reviewed, hundreds of distracted driving studies, show that handheld or hands-free usage is equally as dangerous. So my suggestion is that you implement a cell phone ban completely while driving at your operation, but at a very minimum to ban handheld cell phone usage. But I would recommend implementing both. There's also technologies on your phone that are already there that can you can turn them on, and then you don't get phone calls or text messages while you're driving. That's an easy solution that companies can implement that makes it easier on the driver to focus on the task of driving.
Well, thank you, Kyla, for sharing with us about road safety.
Thank you so much for the opportunity to do this.
Thank you for watching drillingcontractor.org.